Welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate Semeniuk. I'm a hypnotherapist, and today we will cover anger at parents. I decided to put this video in this channel because I feel like almost every second client has either very obvious or unexpressed anger at their parents. So we all have something unresolved with our parents. All of us, right? We sometimes feel like, oh, we achieved something. We want to call our parents and tell them, and we still seek validation from them. Or we get triggered by a phone call. Sometimes they call us, sometimes they visit us, or we go and visit our parents and we get triggered. We deny it to the point where we come back from the visit to our parents not knowing why our emotional state is so unbalanced, is so unstable. That's because there is something unresolved. There was something that got triggered. You didn't notice that trigger. Or maybe you did notice, but you decided to deny it, suppress it, put it down somewhere for later. Your subconscious mind doesn't know time. It never sleeps, and it holds every pain that wasn't expressed in your body. And if you deny it, if you shut it down, if you numb it, trust me, your body will talk for you. Your body will decide to talk for you. If you have something unresolved with your parents, that is going to show up. Because the subconscious mind doesn't know time, that trauma grows with you. And it not only grows with you and inside of you. You know this really good saying that we carry an inner child inside of us. We carry a parent inside of us as well, very often. When we have this unexpressed pain, unexpressed anger, it not only hurts us, but it hurts other people around us as well. This is something crucial that we need to realize when we seek healing or we seek resolving something with our parents. So why anger? Why not just crying? Why not just letting go? And it's not for everyone. Some people are easily letting go of everything that happened to them in the past, but a big majority of people are still holding on to some resentment, some anger, some unsaid, unexpressed words that they wanted to tell to their parents, some feeling of unfairness, some feeling of injustice. Right? They actually question why. I very often hear that from my clients. They tell me, why, Kate? Why they did that to me? I know they did best what they could. I know they didn't know better, but I did decide to do differently. So why they couldn't decide the same? The purpose of the human being is to do better than what was done to us. So the healing happens, right, in generations. So they might have done a little bit better than their parents, and you might have broken the cycle completely when you decided, I'm not going to raise my kids the same as my parents did. And some kids are very lucky. They have loving, supporting parents. And some people didn't get that lucky, and they were actually growing up in a lot of abuse and pain. However, this world is full of suffering. But this world is also full of methods to heal this suffering. So it's an abundance of suffering. However, there is an abundance of methods how you can heal the pain. A lot of people turn the pain into this kind of a core for their career. They turn it into such a healing that helps them to heal others or to help others. That's a big transformation that the person can do. And you can do that as well if you have been growing up in pain. What happens with anger? Anger at parent can be of two types. One of them is visible, which is you are actually visibly angry. You don't want to talk to your parents. You don't want to call them. You don't want to have anything to do with them. In your mind, there are three friends: resentment, anger, and frustration. You don't have to blame yourself for having these emotions. Anger is a natural emotion. And if you couldn't express anger, if you were helpless or hopeless in childhood, you couldn't express that anger. There is a stage where we can express anger, and it's the teenage age. those sometimes rebellious years where we actually are able to express the anger. However, even at that stage, sometimes we are not able to do that. So if we are not able to do that, anger defines your boundaries. If you notice a child, and the child has this kind of a little circle around them, invisible circle, and when you do something that they don't like, they might scream. They might tell you like completely the truth, sometimes even a very harsh truth, because they're setting their boundaries. Their anger, that's their boundaries. But if you haven't been able to express the anger in childhood, those boundaries thin out until they're not there anymore. And the anger becomes this unexpressed pain. And then we carry it. Sometimes we express. You can see that in teenagers. You can see it very vividly. For some of the teenagers, parents struggle with these kids. They don't know what to do. They start to shut them down even more. They start to complain that, oh, my kids started to act out, started to really be angry. I don't know, my child just changed. But the child at 14 or 13 years of age, they start to realize that they are not their parents. They're not their tribe. This is like a first separation, not the first, the second one. The first happens at about 6 or 7 years of age. But at 13 or 14, they feel this natural separation that I am not my tribe. I am not my family. I am me. I want to do it by myself. I want to go where I want. I want to get out of the house, of the parents' house as soon as possible. I worked with a lot of teenagers, and very often I hear, I just can't wait until I get out of my parents' house. And on the same side, they say, I love my parents, but I hate being controlled so much. Children don't like to be controlled, especially teenagers, because children cannot do anything. They feel helpless and hopeless, so they just go with the flow. However, when you're 13 or 14, you feel that anger. You feel that resentment. You feel that rebellious attitude that I want to say no. I want to say, get the hell out of my mind and my life. Yes, that happens. When those boundaries thin out, and if they're not expressed in those rebellious years at the teenage, when the person grows up and they become 21, they start to be very busy with career, with college, with jobs, with relationships. So they distract themselves, right? But at some point in our life, there comes a time when we slow down, or there comes a times when we start to gain wisdom. And that's when we actually get even more triggered. That's when the body talks to us like, go resolve it. It's time. You're able. You're going to have these abilities to resolve it. You're going to have these resources to resolve. We get triggered a lot by our parents. We are invited for the Christmas dinner. We get triggered because our parents remind us that we gained weight, or we are not as successful as our siblings, or, oh, you didn't do enough in your life. It could be directly, or it could be an indirect language. But your mind always is on that focus. Your mind will focus on something that really bothers you. So it will get that anger out. And the trickiest part here is that anger is a natural emotion. And it is very important to express it no matter what age it is. But at the same time, anger is like this poison. And it poisons not only you, but usually the people around you. People that are your loved ones, people that live with you. I have had, and I still have anger. And I noticed that the people around me, like my family, my kids, are the ones that actually get to really hurt because of that. Being able, learning how to express anger in a healthy way, being able to resolve the core, the root cause of that pain that now transformed into anger. It's being able to resolve that root cause will help you to actually decrease the level of anger outbursts just by resolving that core. Because anger is not just anger, it is the pain. And if you couldn't express, don't think that it will never come. If I have something unresolved in my childhood, it's going to stay there. Yes, there are some NLP practices that actually teach people to move on. But you have to have very high resources, very high awareness to be able to close the door, to look at your past differently without even going there. That's possible. You have to raise your awareness to that level. What can you do? Let's say you are angry at your parents. You get triggered by criticism, by judgment, or there was an abuse, any type of abuse. Some of them really suppressed, like sexual abuse or physical abuse. Maybe there was an addiction, a drug abuse in childhood. There was a lot of control. It shows up right now in different behaviors. I ask my clients all the time, they tell me how my problems with my parents actually show up in my life. And when they come to me, I ask, what's your issue? And they say, I can't find relationship. I can't find this love and supporting relationship. If a woman comes to me with that issue, I always ask, what's with your dad? I always ask that because I know that the core is right there in that father figure. If a man comes to me and they ask me, okay, why am I afraid of abandonment so much? Why I have this fear of rejection? I always ask, let's talk about your dad and mom. Did your mom leave you at some point? And yes, she left us when I was 8. Yes. So when we had something unresolved with our parents, it's going to seep through every area of our life. And it's different for everyone. But the best part is when you are an adult, you can change. And I'm going to show you different strategies that you can do in order to resolve, heal, or let go of the past unresolved issues with your parents so that your anger decreases. And then instead of anger comes realization, comes understanding, comes wisdom, comes awareness, and comes this lightness. 3 insights that you need to realize when working with issues with your parents. The first one is that anger is the negative emotion that needs to be expressed. The second realization and the second insight you need to realize is that forgiveness of your parents comes as a byproduct of healing. You can't just, I want to forgive my parents. Or I have clients who come to me and say, I've forgiven them. I know they did best they could. And when we go into hypnosis, when we go into the session, it turns out that there is so much pain still. Somehow they still have these fears, sometimes panic attacks, anxiety, abandonment issues, some patterns and behaviors that they don't like. So when you seek forgiveness inside of you, you want to forgive your parents, think about it as a byproduct. It's going to come naturally as a byproduct of healing. All you need to do is healing. And the forgiveness, and not only forgiving your parents, but forgiving other people that hurt you in the past. Don't seek it, don't force it, don't muscle it. It's going to come. So, and the third realization is that you need to know the hierarchy of the generations. Your parents are older. Your parents are supposed to be not a support system, but like a wisdom, like just a voice of wisdom. So hierarchy means that you are not responsible for your parents anymore. You're not parents to your parents. Parenting your parents is a broken hierarchy. And very often, in many situations, parents seek kind of support from children in terms of, you need to give me attention. You need to validate me. You need to do everything. So these 3 realizations, you're not responsible for your parents. The forgiveness will come as a byproduct of your healing. And anger hurts people around you and yourself. If you want to resolve the anger, here are a couple of exercises or techniques that you can do. First of them is you need to write a letter to your parents, and not a nice one. You take a piece of paper, sometimes even more. My first letter to my parents was probably like about 5 pages. And you write down every single angry word that you couldn't express in childhood. Sometimes we are not ready to talk to our parents and to really express how we felt in childhood. Or maybe your parents are not there anymore. Write a letter Just write it all, get it all out. The worst words that you could ever imagine, you need to put it on the paper. And then you burn that. You'll see how much of an emotional release right away you're going to have. Because all of those words, all of those angry, resentful words that you wanted to say, you couldn't, now are just poison in your body and your system and your organs and your tissues. So let's not keep it in the body. Let's get it out on the paper. It's safe. It's healthy. So you write it down. And then you burn that letter. Another advice is create the space. If you feel like you get triggered every time you have a conversation with your parents, create a space. Be very busy for your parents. Like say, I'm very busy. Trying to create that space where you can actually detach yourself from these relationships. The guilt, the shame, and the blame are completely artificial feelings. They are socially imposed feelings and emotions. And as you learn them, you can unlearn them. You can reprogram your mind to feel that I don't have to feel shame or blame for being angry at my parents, for example. So this is your second advice. The third advice, imagine you are 80 years old. A younger you comes to you and asks for advice with this anger. The younger you comes to you and they ask you for wisdom. What should I do with this anger? What should I do? How can I express it? Should I talk to them? Should I just let it go? Think about it. You're 80. You're probably at the last decade of your life. What would you tell? That's going to be a very transformational experience for you as well. Another one is, remember that unresolved problems, they are holding you in the past. There is no energy in the past. There is nothing alive in the past. You can anchor yourself to the past happy moments for sure. But at the same time, very often we anchor ourselves to the negative things. We have flashbacks. We have traumatic experience that we relieve. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't know real from imaginary. Your mind can relieve the memory just like it's happening right now. So releasing the memories with the help of different healing methods. One of them is hypnotherapy. It can help you release that traumatic experience and look at your past differently. And when you look at your past differently, you have no need to unconsciously anchor yourself there. You have no need to be triggered. You will see how much lighter you feel. Try these methods and they will absolutely help you on your healing path towards forgiving your parents, towards letting go. I hope this was really beneficial for you. I hope you learned a lot. Please comment below. What is bothering you in your relationship with your parents? And I will absolutely respond. Follow me on social media. I'm very active on all social platforms, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I post about relationship, about fears, phobias, anxiety, where you can learn in a short form content how to heal yourself, how to find that formula for your mindset that can bring you towards joy, fulfillment, and happiness. I love you all. Be healthy emotionally and physically. Bye.